Hey guys, it's Mindy, and today I'm going to be doing the Big Book Phobias tag. This tag was originally created by Liz over at Liz's Book Buffet, and she actually tagged me, so I am excited to have been tagged by the creator. The way this tag works is you have 5 big books, which are 500 pages or more that you haven't read, and 5 shorter books, 300 pages or less, that you have read. And you hold them up, like mix match them, one long one, one short one, and tell why you haven't read the long one and what you liked about the short one. So let's just get right on to it. My first big book is going to be Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. This comes in at a whopping 817 pages. And the reason I have not read this yet is that I honestly have no idea what this is about. I got this from my dad as a present, and it's really freaking huge, and I didn't feel like starting it yet, or haven't felt like starting it yet. A short book that I have read under 300 pages is A Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk. This is 218 pages. And the reason I loved this book was it was so action-packed. It read a lot like the movie, so the book was just great. I loved this book and would recommend it if you're looking for something under 300 pages to read. My next large book is this one right here, which is The Amazing Adventures of Kavalier in Clay by Michael Chabon. This comes in at 678 pages. The reason I have not read this yet is I have only liked one book so far by Michael Chabon, and the other book that I read by him I was very against. I really want to read this eventually, but the thought of having to think about him writing that other book is just kind of irritating at times. So I have put this off far too long, and it will need to be read soon. Another short book that I really enjoyed, coming in at 179 pages, was The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. I know a lot of people who are not big fans of Neil Gaiman's work. I personally enjoy his work, and this book is no exception. It was full of just whimsy and magic, and the story just was very heartwarming, and I loved it. It gave me a very nostalgic feeling for my childhood, so I recommend this if you are interested in reading some Neil Gaiman. This would probably be a great place to start. The next long book that I need to read eventually is coming in at 645 pages, and it is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. A lot of people are surprised probably that I haven't read this, mainly because I read a lot of crime fiction. I have not read this yet because there are a couple things in the movie that I don't like seeing, so I'm a bit hesitant to pick up the book. I will read it eventually. I know it gets high praises from a lot of the people I really trust here on BookTube. Estelle recently mentioned that she really enjoyed this book, so I really need to read it. Another short book that I really loved, coming in at 287 pages, is The Road by Cormac McCarthy. I've mentioned this in quite a few of my videos. The writing is interesting. I mean, not only do you have to really pay attention as far as the format of the book, because Cormac McCarthy's writing is very unusual if you've never read it before, but the actual story is great and very touching as well, so I enjoyed this very much. And another large book, I have seen this on a couple of people's videos that have done this tag so far, and for some reason my copy is a lot shorter than a few of the other people's copies, and it is Dune by Frank Herbert. My copy is 510 pages long. I've heard a couple of people say that their copy was like 800 pages long, so for a second I thought that my copy was an abridged one, but actually it's just that the words are tiny, and then they go to pretty much the edges of the pages. I have not read this yet, and I'm a bit nervous to read it. I think this is going to be the most epic science fiction that I've ever read, and I think I just need to prepare myself for it before I start it and just get too overwhelmed. I mentioned Estelle already, but this is her favorite science fiction book, I believe, and it comes with very high recommendations from her, so I know that when I finally do have the time to dedicate to this book, I know I'm going to really love it. Another short book that I have read and loved was A Pawn of Prophecy by David Eddings. This comes in at 262 pages. This is the first book of a series, being the Belgariad series. This first book was very fun to read. It's a bit of a coming-of-age story, and it's mixed with some epic fantasy, and I just loved the characters in this first book, so I recommend this if you're checking out fantasy and want to see something different. And the last large book barely making the cut is Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling. This comes in at 503 pages. A lot of you may have read this and some of you have not. The reason that I personally have put this off is because this was the first thing that she published after Harry Potter, I believe. And I've read The Cuckoo's Calling, and I really liked Cuckoo's Calling, but I'm nervous about reading this one. I've heard bad things about it, and I'm not inclined to believe them. I know a lot of people were just bitter that she decided to write in this genre after Harry Potter, but I'm a bit nervous about reading it and not liking it. So I've put it off for that reason alone. And the last short book that I have read and enjoyed is going to be Dead Until Dark by Charlaine Harris. This is 260 pages long, and it's the first book in the Sookie Stackhouse series, also known as the True Blood series, which the TV show is based on. This series is one of my guilty pleasures. I really like reading them. They're kind of cheesy sometimes, but for the most part I think they're written pretty well, and although the story isn't, you know, grade A material, I find them very entertaining. So I recommend this series if you're interested in reading the book version of the TV show. So that was the Big Book Phobia Tag. I am going to tag 2 people. The first one is going to be a semi-new booktuber. She's one of my subscribers, so I hopefully she'll see this video and do the tag. And her name is Illogical Betty. I will link her channel down below, and I've enjoyed watching her videos so far, so I'm looking forward to seeing this from her as well. And the second person I'm going to tag is Nicole from Nicole's Adventures in Science Fiction. I think that's the whole name of her channel. She just tagged me in her original video, so I want to tag her back. Links to both of them down below, and links to Liz's channel will be down below. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know down below, is there a reason why you're putting off some of those big books on your shelves? And if there is, which books are you really putting off? And give me a good reason. Some of my reasons were pretty crappy, and I need to read these books now because my reasoning is not valid. Yeah. So that about wraps it up. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.